This is part two of my Audacity song editing. So, in the last video, I did how to reorder verses or hooks, how to copy stuff around in Audacity, and some basic things to match up instrumentals, like so that you can change songs around and not have them skip a beat or anything. And in this video, I'm going to be doing a bunch of different other stuff. So I'll see how much I can get done today. But we're going to start off with adding instrumental fade-ins or fade-outs. So first off, before I get into that, this is a little bit unrelated, but I just finished a edit of a song called Pistol Poppin', and I was changing it to a song called King Mathers. The reason for that is it's from one of my fan albums. It's like of unreleased songs, and I was trying to make the song fit the album more, so I changed the title to that because this was a rumor for a song called that featuring Cassius. And what I did was I took the hook and so this is the original hook, and this is just some other Audacity stuff, so maybe you guys could learn a few things from this. But what I did was, this actually goes up, I split it into two parts. This is the first time the hook goes, and then the hook repeats. And this is like right at the end of the hook. I added like a few seconds of the instrumental here, and to get the instrumental from songs, sometimes what you can do is you can go to the end of the song. So this is the end of the song, where it's just like fading out, and you can take that bit. Make sure not to copy the super quiet part. You want to get the normal part. And so I added like a few seconds of that. So basically, there's a little bit of a pause in between, and then I added in a few gunshot sounds, and then I added him shouting King Mathers. So I'm gonna play the final result quickly, and then I'll play this. Audacity thing is not up to date, it's like an old version, but I'll just play it so that you can see it with the wavelengths and everything. But this is the original that I actually am using.
Dropping bodies, dropping, laying all around. You thought it was a game, now the neighbors calling out. The police to find out what's that sound while you laying on the ground with your fucking ground.
So the first time there's King Mathers in the background, and then this is the transition part with the gunshots. So I'll play it again. So it's pretty quiet. It's just him echoing with the sound saying that. And I think this makes sense because M's verse is pretty good, and it's like sort of serious. It's not just messing around, and he talks about some current issues. It's just a good song. And also, like if there's a song called King Mathers, I would say his verse fits perfectly. And the hook, he only says pistol poppin' at the start of it, so it's not like he's just saying, for example, in a song like in the re-up, he constantly is saying you don't know in the hook, like, you know, I think he repeats it like 4 times in the hook. So if I were to name the song like something random, like King Mathers, for example, it wouldn't really make sense. But in this song, since he only says pistol poppin' at the start of the hook, I think it doesn't make the song too weird to have a different title. So anyways, I'll just play the rest of the hook. But
laying all around. You thought it was a game, now the neighbors calling out. The police to find out what's that sound while you laying on the ground with your fucking ground. We just feel like this to me.
And it just smoothly goes into his verse. So once again, this is an outdated version, but I'll just play it here. So
police to find out what's that sound while you laying on the ground with your fucking brain. Dropping bodies, dropping, laying.
So yeah, it sounds a bit different. One thing is to echo stuff. This will be a short tutorial. So first, what I did was I got the acapella of this song called "You Think I'm Crazy," and he raps this. Here, I'll play it. I think this is it.
From the West Coast chapter, King Mathers.
So in the original song, you could obviously hear this is just like him rapping in a normal verse, and then you could sort of hear the beat in the background. But I used a method to remove the acapella. I'll do that in a later video, I think, and like a tutorial on how to do that. But anyways, I added a fade out with the echo, and to do that, all you need to do is you just highlight a little bit at the end. So I'll just go like that, and you want to go to generate silence, just so that you have a blank slate, and then you go whatever you want to echo, you highlight that plus the end. So say I want to echo this last part.
King Mathers.
Wait.
King Mathers.
It's already echoed, so it's going to be really trippy, but Then you go like that. You can mess around with the numbers and you just do preview.
King Mad, King Mad, King Mad, King Mad, King Mad, King.
So obviously this is kind of unnecessarily echoing.
King Mad, King Mad, King Mad.
But you know, you get the idea. That's how you do it. So that was it for King Mathers thing. I rearranged verses like I already talked about, and then I just showed you guys how I changed the hook. So now, anyways, into adding instrumental fade out. So first, what we're gonna do is let's go to music. Let's get difficult. This is just a song I'm gonna use. Actually, is it gonna get copyrighted? No, I don't think so, because I'll just be looking at the end of the song. So actually, I kind of want to be safe and not do that, but I don't know. I guess I'll do it. So difficult here is the song, and then what we're gonna do is get the instrumental. So I already have that downloaded on my computer, but if you're going to get an instrumental, make sure it's downloaded in 320 kilobytes per second, and to do that, you just go to YouTube to MP3, and then when you download it, you right click and go to details and make sure it says that, because that's the best quality an MP3 can have, and if you have lower than that, it's not good quality and you can do better. So here we have the song and the instrumental. First thing you notice is the song is super quiet. So I taught this in the last video, but you go to here, go to amplify, and it's 7, so that's pretty high. So it's going to go all the way up to this. And then what we do is, let's look at the end of the song. So in this song, it just fades out really quick. So it goes like.
What's more difficult as it sounds.
So it goes really quick, and then it just fades out. And for the sake of this video, I'm gonna try to avoid playing the video just in case of copyright, because it sometimes blocks it. Now what you would do is, the thing with this song is it's not just a straight up drum beat. It has piano going in the background, so you need to be careful to make sure that's linked up. But I'll just quickly give it a shot. It looks like it's going like that. Yeah. So then all you do is, and then so to add an instrumental fade out, all you do is you would link up the instrumental, you would delete the original fade out, then you would have this part, and you would zoom in, get it super close to being exactly matched up. Then you would, and like I said, if you remember in the last video, since this is a older song, you're probably going to need to do the puzzle method and have it fade out a little bit extra. So let's do that. Generate silence. So let's just test it. So that wasn't really perfect. I'm not going to worry about being perfect for this video, but we'll go like this because his voice sort of cut off. So yeah, you would just have to mess around with this and get it perfectly. The things that you could work with are overlaying it more, so like leaving a little bit more of that, like have it like that, and then have this fade in and fade out. Or you could be more careful, because I kind of deleted a bit of his words. He sort of just cuts off saying difficult as it sounds. And then what you would have, so you'd have this long instrumental, you would delete it to however long you want it. Say I wanted this long, then you do the fade out. Normally make sure it's highlighted at the end of the song and then about halfway through, and then you would do this. And then since it's just completely linear, I usually go halfway, so it goes like that, so it's to completely silence, because before it just sort of stops when you can still hear it. Another thing is, if you do highlight over this way, it sometimes does it less of an effect, especially, wait, I think it's if it's, okay, hold on, if this is silence, and then it, oops, and then you go like this. Yeah, so if it's like this, it'll have just imagine an imaginary line going through here. It would fade out, so if this was audio, it would be completely blank here, and then it would be fading up, and then it would be up to here. It's sort of hard to explain, but this obviously isn't fading out all the way. Here I sort of have an idea. I can go like that. It would be like this, except there's no audio. You see how these are like the same, and then it fades out. But yeah, so that's going to be it for adding instrumental fade-ins or fade-outs. Fading in is exactly the same. You just put it at the front of the song. I think I have 2 of these open. Oops. I'll always click that. We got some lag. Let's lay that up. Okay. Shortening instrumentals. Okay, so this part is going to be on a different song. So first I'm just going to get the song. Okay. So I think we'll use, here we go. Okay. So this song, Warriors Part 2, I used it in my fan album for, what was it called? Curtain Call, and I changed it to Warriors, and then I removed Lloyd Banks' verse because I sort of thought this was like a part 2 to Never Enough. It was a less than 3-minute song with 50 Cent, Eminem, and Nate Dogg. They both had a verse, and then he did the hook twice, so it was just perfect, except it was about different, I mean, it was similar subject matter, I guess, but yeah, so that was sort of like my Never Enough Part 2, which is why it was in the album directly after Encore. So I had this one here and here, and what I did in this song was, in the original, at the start, whoops, I zoomed in quite a bit here. In the original, at the start, he just shouts stuff like, he shouts remix. Now, what if you don't want him to say remix? So what you do is you know, I'm just going to cut this whole thing out because he says Lloyd Banks, and in my original one I did that. So this is just a complete copy of how I did it on this song. So I cut out the Lloyd Banks part 2, so we're just going to highlight the whole thing. Okay, so that's good. So you may want to be careful for echoing, so you can sort of hear it echoing. Just be careful of that. So what we're going to do is we're going to highlight it, you do Control X, and then you want to keep this line here, so don't do anything, but hold Shift until the arrow is pointing to the right, and then you just highlight all the way down here, and then Control X again. You can zoom out a bit, and then you just copy it. So now we have this big pause in our song. So what we need to do is we bring it, Control X again, click down here, Control V, so now we have it at the bottom part. Then what we need to do is just link up the instrumental like always. We've been doing this for quite a while. You guys should know how to do this. That looks about good. I'm not going to worry about it being too perfect in this video. Actually, I might as well, so looks like we should go like, oh, it goes like, I guess I'll have to lose that much of it. Normally I try to keep it as far right as possible to keep as much of the instrumental, but in this case I'm gonna need to go all the way over there like that. I think that's it. No, that's not linked up. Sorry about this. Even I get a little confused, so it goes, what did I have it at? Like that. There we go. Let's go here. I think it's a little bit different, but I guess that's as best as we're going to get. Like that. Okay, generate silence. Okay. He was shouting in that part, so I forgot to do that, but so it wasn't perfect because I didn't spend much time on it, but you get the idea. Probably want to go like that, to be honest. There we go, that's perfect. So yeah, sometimes you just need to take a few tries. My method is just don't quit until it's perfect. So even if it sounds a little bit off, then you just got to keep going. Don't just export it when it just sounds half-assed. So I just keep messing around with it. So I'll just play it one more time, but as you can tell, perfectly flowing. Whoops, not that. So yeah, that's going to be that point, shortening instrumentals, adding basic sound effects. Okay. So I already sort of went over this with my Cassius hook, but I didn't really. So in one of my older videos, I have a skip pack, and this has a bunch of stuff. This one is not the best sound effect, but I have used it.
Shady.
It's better under instrumental, but that's the classic shady. I got it from the song Hello, actually, and anyways, my favorite, I think it sound effect is this gunshot 2, or no, gunshot 1. So let's zoom in, delete this crap at the start, that's not relevant, but anyways, here's the gunshot. I used it in a lot of songs, but say we want it at the end. So the thing with adding gunshots, this works for any sound effect. You would just want to put it wherever it goes best, and you want to make sure the volume is good, so you don't want to have the sound effect too loud, but if you don't want to have it too quiet. So this gun sound, for example, is just perfect at the volume it comes with, but sometimes they'll be like super loud because obviously it's a gunshot. And the best thing with these, specifically gunshots, is to link it up exactly with the beat, so when it hits the drum, the gunshot happens. So let's try it here. Alright, we want to do it on the second one. But you don't want to put it like in the middle. You want to put it right like the peak of the drum. So I mean, you didn't really need a gunshot at this one. The point of gunshots is, say you have a song. I mean, you can use it whenever you want, but say you have a song that goes like this, and it like cuts off, and you don't know why. It's like a leak song or something. What you do is you just can cover that bad boy up with the gunshot, and it goes pretty well. You obviously can go like cut this off and then make it shorter if you want. And then there you go. So that's adding sound effects. Say I wanted to add one in the middle of the song. Like during the hook, and there you go. You just link it up with the drums. It sounds really good. And another method of mine is I like to double up sometimes, or even triple up. So sorry, I just did delete that because it pasted at the start. Which with this method, you just link the second one up with the drum, or halfway through, and it goes like. So it doesn't really fit that well with this song, but I'll just quickly show you. Oops, not that. On my King Mathers song, it goes pretty well.
Thought it was a game, now the niggas calling that. The police to find out what's that sound. While you laying on the ground with your fucking ground.
So I had it tripled up there, but you could hear it go bang, 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 and it goes really well with a fast-paced beat. If it was a slow-paced beat, then it would be different. So I'll just play it again.
Find out what's that sound. While you laying on the ground with your fucking ground.
So it sounds great. And then another thing is, actually I just remembered in chloroseptic.
I'm too complex with my appetite.
I used it, and this is sort of a slow beat, so I'll just show it here.
And all it wants is to have something to chew.
And I don't know, I kind of regret doing that because it feels kind of weird, but at the same time, it sounds pretty badass.
Instruction is loose. Instruction is loose. And all it wants is to have something to chew.
So that's just an example of adding in the middle of the song. Anyways, on to the second part about the gunshot is if you want to have a song transition. I'm skipping this remixing. I'll come back to that in part 3. And this one, I'm also gonna do. What was the other thing? Shit, I forgot. Oh yeah. And that's gonna be my part 3. So song transitions. So we want to have a song right after this. I'll just take Public Enemy. That one kind of fits. So where is the re-up? Here we go. By the way, I switched between things using Control Tab. You guys probably know this, but if you don't use computers that much, it's different on a Mac. But yeah, Control Tab to switch between things. So here we have the start of the song, and what you would usually do is don't do it right away. I mean, that's what a lot of mixtapes do. So if you want to, that's fine. I'll just do it. Here, wait, it's a little too quick, but obviously this isn't the best transition to have a gunshot, but you get the idea that usually most mixtapes are like, they'll just quickly transition, or it'll have like the rewind sound effect and then somebody yelling something. But most studio albums will just have it's slightly overlapped, so it would be like this, but overlapped. So that's the idea for transitions. You don't want to just go like this because it's kind of weird. Like it goes all the way quiet. I like to overlay stuff. So now what you do is once you have this, you go to mix and render. Now the tricky part with this is splitting up the songs now that they're all combined. So you select the song. Wait.
Broad day, prime talk, dude, and you can see in my bones, I might die.
It seems kind of long. Okay, never mind. I'm just weird. Okay, so what we do is we find the start of the song. Okay, so it's like that. Okay, that's good enough. So you just separate the song, Control X, Control V. So you'll have this little break in between. So what you do is you got to zoom in, and I haven't really tested this, but for the most part, I'm pretty sure if you just export this song as it is, it will automatically generate blank silence at the end, because that's how MP3 coding works. And this is lagging. Hello. So it'll have like blank silence for this song, and it's really annoying. So what you have to do is you have to manually add it. So just highlight a little bit and go generate silence. I just do 3 because that's good. Actually, I'm gonna do two samples, and then you just click the black line to connect it, and then we go over here. Oh, not perfect 2. Click that. Okay, and then for the end of the songs, they don't really matter. Or the start, might as well get rid of that. And then this song. That's good. Okay, so then to export them, you just double click one of the songs. You want to do File, Export, Selected. That's really important. Don't do the export audio because that'll do the whole thing. Do Selected, and then you do what is it? Make sure it's MP3 because that's what most songs are. And if you try to upgrade it to FLAC, it'll just mess up the audio. It'll sound weird. So if you have MP3, keep it MP3. But if you have higher quality, like what's it called, MP or M4A, you can keep it at that. It's up to you. And then you want to make sure it's insane 320 kilobytes per second. This doesn't matter. And also joint stereo, it should be like that by default. And then you just do save and it'll be done. And then you do the same thing over here. Now what you can do is once you add these to iTunes, they will have a sweet transition that's pretty smooth. I'll just show one of mine. It might not work, but I'll just do it. Wait.
It's Paul.
Whoops. So in iTunes, just the way how it works is normally you have to play the whole song and then it'll do the transition properly. But if you skip to the end, it like messes it up. So that's really annoying. But that's why there's a little pause. But that was pretty close, and it just smoothly goes in. And if you listen to it on a phone and you skip to the end, it won't happen. It's just like a glitch with this iTunes, which is kind of annoying. That's kind of random too, but might as well explain that if you guys run into that. That's why, like your song is fine. It's just iTunes. It's a problem. So yeah, I think that's everything I want to go over in this video. go here. Here are all my sound effects, yeah, that I use. I think that has everything. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna talk about this at the end. This is unrelated, so if you don't care about this and you're only here for Audacity, then you can leave. But um, on average, Eminem albums have 5 skits and 15 songs. Now, that was the case before Recovery, because that was like Encore, Eminem Show, Relapse, all those were like that. So just when you're making an album, and then also try to have a Curtains or PSA skit, because he always has an intro. Um, once again, that's the Eminem Show, Encore, Relapse. Well, that has Dr. West intro, but same thing, intro. And then a lot of people ask me, yeah, those songs near the end of the albums that have, even in my King Mathers, I incorporated that.
Last few years. Shit, I don't know.
Whoops, but yeah, so that, and then Ken Kniff usually makes an appearance, and then also try to have a radio hit or a Without Me type shady song. So what that means is, in this album, I have You Don't Know as like sort of the radio hit, and then say we were talking about Encore, it has Just Lose It as like that sort of Without Me type song. The Real Slim Shady here, every album's got one. So yeah, that's something I just want to talk about. Sorry about these videos if they're kind of awkward, because I'm not very good at this, but that's going to be it. Thanks for watching.